Greetings, Mechwarriors. My name is TTB. Welcome back to Mechwarrior Online. And guys, let's talk a little bit about the PSR changes. Now, PSR stands for Pilot Skill Rating. That is basically your skill ability, your gameplay ability ranked against everybody else's, where you stand amongst the pack. And PSR has been a problem in Mechwarrior Online basically forever because it was basically a experience bar. That means that a lot of people that should not belong into higher tiers because they were just not good enough to be in those higher tiers were actually in tier 2 or tier 1 just because they played a lot and won a lot of matches by being in a match that actually had somebody to pull them through. So that of course skews everything, and it also doesn't really help match quality if tier 1 can mean really, really good players, but also just really, really bad players that just have played a lot. So naturally, there's problems that come from that. Now, PGI was lately looking into that a little bit. I think they're trying to do some changes for the better for the game with as little resources involved as possible, one of which was the combining of the group queue with the solo queue. And this is, I think, the second of these changes, and I wholeheartedly support that. PSR needs to be changed. Now, the first suggestion they had out there was to base PSR basically on win rate, so it didn't matter how well you performed in the match. Regardless of that, if you win, you advance in PSR, you get ranked higher. If you lose, you get ranked lower. So, if you're a really good player and you're getting drawn down by a lot of Pepegas on your team, then your personal skill rating will drop. On the other side, if you're a bad player and you're getting carried by other good players, then your personal skill rating, your pilot skill rating will rise. So I was not a friend of that idea. Thankfully, though, PGI went back to the drawing board. They actually invited in the community to help them out with some ideas. And it looks like together with Jay-Z, who made the initial pitch, they're working on a new set for PSR. The link will be down in the video description because I don't want to look into all of this. I don't want to analyze the formula and everything. I mean, basically what this does is it will calculate your change in pilot skill rating based on a win-loss variable minus, and then it gets a little bit weird. The match score constant plus the match score constant times the team's average match score times your personal pilot's match score divided by the team's average match score, and so on and so on. It is a complicated formula, but it makes sense because in the end, what they're looking to do, and I think these two images sum that up pretty nicely, is they want to move from a curve like this, what we have right now. This is the actual player distribution that we have right now. 16,000 people in tier 5, and then just basically no difference between tier 4 through tier 1. They're all on the same level. And they want to move that towards a bell curve, which means that tier 3 will have basically the most players, and then if you are worse than the average, you end up in tier 4. Or if you're really, really bad, you end up in tier 5. If you're better than the average, you end up in tier 2. And if you're really, really good, then you end up in tier 1. That makes a lot of sense. We'll see if this is doable. I mean, kind of like League of Legends has a similar approach where most people will be like in bronze, silver, and gold elo, and then there's even something below that called Iron, which is really, really bad. But of course, there's also leagues above that, like Platinum, Diamond, Master, Grandmaster. But of course, these are single-digit percentages of the player base. So bell curve, long story short, makes sense. The question will then be, how will the matchmaker draw from these bell curves, or how will the matchmaker draw from these pools? Like, for example, if you're a tier 1 player, which I hope I will become. We all know that maybe secretly I'm just a tier 5 Pepega, but let's say I would be a tier 1 player. Where would the matchmaker then draw from? Would it try to fill it with tier 1? And if it can't fill from tier 1, it would try to fill from tier 2. And if it can't fill from tier 2, then maybe tier 3, and so on. Would make sense? We'll see. Here is hoping that it will lead to people getting a better understanding of how well they actually play the game, because I am... nothing triggers me more than people who are clearly really bad at the game saying with complete conviction, well, I'm a tier 1 player, so I'm very experienced and very good at the game. And we've had a couple of those on the live streams or on the YouTube videos over the time, and it's, yeah, you don't want to deal with it. You don't want to get into an argument with that. This should actually help make people understand where they are in the game and what they need to do to improve, or how they can improve and how far they can improve. If you end up in tier 4, you know that you need to put in some work so that you can be as good as the average player, and then if you put in more work, maybe you get better than average, or maybe you get into tier 1. But you're gonna know this is what you're currently at, and this is what you need to do. Yeah, what else can I say about this? The update, ETA, important. It says down here, is going to be Tuesday, June 30th. So in European time, that might actually end up being June 31st. We'll see. It will be a patch, so full restart of client and servers. And yeah, we should get an ETA very soon. QA testing, and according to them, it's working as intended. So that's a good thing. We'll see how it works out in the end. Now, another thing I would like to talk about real quick is what they actually shared in a couple of posts beforehand, because I haven't touched on that yet. It was a message about the state of the matchmaker, and basically what they were saying is that they want to change the PSR system, want to change the matchmaker system. What was really sad for myself is that they finally gave us some numbers of how many people are actually playing this game right now. And as you can see here, it's stated that currently MWO peaks at about 1,500 players online in the evening, and about half that at the low point of the 24-hour period. So basically, it averages about 1,000 people online at a single time. For a game that we all sometimes hate, but mostly still are very passionate about and enjoy, these player numbers are truly concerning, because you can't run a company based on this thing alone. And I mean, they've already said in the past that MWO is not really making their money anymore. So to me, it's nice to see that after all the work put into Mechwarrior 5, they're actually coming back to MWO and reinvesting some work back into MWO, because I honestly thought they wouldn't do that. It's not a lot of work that they seem to be investing, at least from a layman's point of view, but they're doing something. So with all the criticism I have for PGI, you know what? Respect to you that you guys are willing to put in some time and effort and try to work things out as much as is possible. So yeah. Looking forward to that. Let's see what the changes bring. Hopefully they will bring some good changes, and hopefully I can see you guys out there on the battlefields of MWO, and of course on my YouTube channel and live on twitch.tv/TheRealTTB, because most of you YouTube lazy ass punks. Is it working if I provoke you? Are you gonna follow me then on Twitch? No guys, really, go ahead, hit that follow button on Twitch. It's really worth it. We are always having a great time there. Right, that is it from me for today, guys. Hope this guy was a little bit helpful. Maybe you guys got some ideas. I'll put the links to both these posts down in the video description below. This has been TTB. Have a nice day, and bye-bye.